Ladies and gentlemen, people with jobs, people without jobs, middle class, upper class, high class, all that. I'm your host with the most, One More Sanchez, and today I got a real special guest, SouthPaw. They don't call him Willy Wonka because he don't sugarcoat shit. What up, fam?
What's up, man? What's up with you?
And before we get started, I see you doing big things. You shaking the world of boxing. I'm giving you props before we start this interview.
Appreciate it.
For the listeners who don't know, let them know who SouthPaw Boxing is.
Due to the COVID-19, I was never a social media type of guy. But since everything is closed down, there's no boxing gyms open. I got on social media. I made a TikTok. I always had a Snapchat, but I made a TikTok. I said, fuck it, why not? I uploaded a sparring video of myself. I think I was sparring in Chicago or Philadelphia. I forgot which one, and it blew up. It got about maybe 20,000 views in a day. And from there, I started getting questions from people who just wanted to know about boxing, curious young fans who just, are just fans of the sport. And me loving boxing so much, I had no problem answering these questions. Me, myself, I don't glorify the person I used to be, but I pretty much know two things in life. And I tell people this all the time. I know street shit and I know boxing. I never graduated the 8th grade. I never been to high school. It's not something that I'm proud of. I'm not saying that's cool. I'm ashamed of that part of my life or whatever. But I could talk gangster shit in boxing because I know that. A lot of people like to talk about things that they've never lived or never done. As far as with the social media, I give a real take on it. Being an amateur boxer myself and me being around the sport, loving the sport, and just having that hard exterior and interior.
What motivated you to get into the sport of boxing, and what would you tell those who are interested in boxing?
My uncle, the first time I ever went into a boxing gym, I was 17 years old. I went with my uncle, Manny Mason. He was one of Floyd Mayweather's sparring partners when Floyd was fighting Diego Corrales. Floyd was training in Texas at that particular time. He was signed with Jay Prince, and I'm sure you've heard of him. You're from Texas. And my uncle, he would take me to the gyms, train a little bit here and there. But he said, in order for you to take this seriously, you have to move to Texas. You could meet Floyd Mayweather, everything. And at that time, Floyd's name wasn't really that big. So I didn't really give a shit who Floyd was. Now that I look, I should have went. But I wanted to stay in Chicago. I was a 17-year-old kid who wanted to gangbang. Nothing was more important to me than the streets at that particular time. And now that I look back, I should have did it. But I was always in and out the boxing gym here and there. I always just loved boxing. I just love fighting. But yeah, that was when I've always watched boxing, but my first love for it was getting in there and seeing the competition. But I should direct my energy into the gym. It's positive. I could train people and I could talk to these young little gangbangers around the neighborhood to try. I mean, you're never going to save the world, especially in Chicago. But if I could reach 2 or 3 little shorties, little 13-year-old shorties, hey, you could come back to the gym. Make it sound like it's fun in the gym. You don't got to go around killing everybody. But how about you punch somebody in the face? Make it sound exciting. What I was trying to do when I took it serious, I try to just tell these little young guys, hey, there's nothing wrong with going to the gym. It don't make you a nerd. You're not playing golf. You boxing. You fighting.
I didn't know about you. Now, I've said it before in my podcast, and I like what you just said. If you could change 1 or 2 kids to get off the streets, that's it. We did our part, and that's the best we can do. What would be the first thing you would guide them to or coach them?
I get a lot of questions on my social media. Hey, can you teach me how to box virtually? And I say, you know what? I love the sport of boxing so much that I could never teach you how to fight virtually, because you're never going to learn how to box by watching a YouTube video. You're never going to learn how to box by watching a Instagram video, watching your favorite fighters fight on TV. You have to Google your nearest boxing gym where fighters fight out of. I'm not talking about them empty gyms to just have a couple punching bags and there's only one guy in the gym. I'm talking about go to a boxing gym where fighters compete out of. People have boxing licenses. I see a lot of fake boxers on the internet punching a bag in an empty gym, thinking that they're impressive to somebody. To a little kid who don't know any better, oh yes, I'm sure he's going to be impressed seeing a guy punch a bag alone. If you're not in a boxing gym where there's competition, that's not a real boxing gym to me. Like I've always said, it's easy to be a soldier when there ain't no war. You could be a boxer all day by yourself in your bathroom until another guy comes up to you and tests you. Then let's see where you really at. So my advice to the young kids, Google a boxing gym. You're never going to learn how to box sparring your homies in the garage when y'all start smoking weed. Boxing with your cousin when you get drunk. That's not boxing. I don't give a fuck how many pairs of boxing gloves you got that you bought from Walmart. You have to Google your nearest boxing gym.
In regards to the boxing news, you shine light on the sport very differently. When I say that, that means that you bring the fans and everyone to look at the side of sport that no one does. Because it's different, and I come from a world where there's two sides to every story. My question is, I haven't seen anybody do what you do. So I look at it like you're onto something. But what motivates you? How did you start doing those news when no one was doing it? What made you think of that?
I would get asked questions on my opinion of certain fighters. And like I said, I jumped on social media. And I didn't know that on social media there was a code on how to talk. You had to be politically correct. And I wasn't aware of that. I thought you were just supposed to be your fucking self. So if you ask me a question, I'm not going to tell you the answer that you want to hear. I'm going to be honest. If you ask me about Canelo Alvarez, I'm going to say talented fighter, but he did test positive twice for clenbuterol. And I don't want to hear that bullshit about that it was the Mexican meat. No, there's certain parts of the world where you can buy shots of clenbuterol at GNC, certain parts in the UK, certain parts of Brazil, and inject them into your stomach. Like I posted the pictures of Canelo Alvarez with needle marks in his stomach. If you ask me about Manny Pacquiao, I'm going to say, is that the same guy who turned down 2 drug tests in 2011 when Floyd Mayweather was asking him to take 2 drug tests? All Floyd Mayweather was asking Pacquiao to do is what nowadays is called the USADA test, random blood in urine. If Mayweather and Pacquiao were to fight today, they would have to take a USADA test. But in 2011, USADA wasn't that big, and Floyd was trying to implement it. And Pacquiao didn't want to take it. I wonder why. And anybody who boxes knows, if you box, when you move up 2, 3, 4, 5 weight classes, you're going to see some type of belly fat on your stomach. You're going to see some type of wrinkle, some type of slippage. The fact that Pacquiao got stronger and faster as he moved up in weight, that's fucking suspicious. I don't give a fuck what nobody says. And if you don't believe that, then you must believe in Santa Claus. You probably look at the sky and see a green sky. The sky's blue to me. You're not gonna.
The spade, you called them out like a spade,
bro. You're not gonna shit on the floor and tell me it's chocolate. You're not gonna do that to me. I'm too old for that shit.
The people that don't agree with your news or your posts,
yeah,
what do you want to tell them?
To the people who don't agree with me, I just want to say that WWE is fake. The sky is blue, roses are red, violets are blue. I'm going to tell you honest boxing news. I get a lot of hate on my page because people don't want to hear the facts. They want to believe that Canelo Alvarez is the best pound for pound boxer today. Interesting. That's so interesting because as of right now, he's fighting Avni Yildirim, a guy coming off of a loss. Very interesting. When Floyd Mayweather was the face of boxing, he always fought guys coming off of their biggest win. When the fuck has the face of boxing fought a guy coming off of a loss? I've never heard of it. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to be honest with you. How the fuck is the face of boxing fighting a guy coming off of a loss? Please tell me, because I'm still waiting to hear it. I'm still waiting to hear it.
How's your story shaped out for you today? Because it's a big 180. Like you said, boxing and hood shit. How's it shaped out?
It's doing pretty good as of right now, but I train about maybe 6, 7 people out here. And it feels good to teach these kids who never threw a punch a day in their life something. When I was in Philadelphia, I trained some kids out there. And here's another thing that I get a lot of hate for. And I don't give a fuck because I just don't. California people are naturally softer than people from Chicago. And I don't give a fuck what nobody says. It's just what it is. It's what I see. But
I'm from Texas. I said the same shit.
I love Texas. I get a lot of support from Texas. My favorite fighter as of right now, Errol the Truth Spence Jr., the Charlo brothers. I love Texas. Hell yeah.
Now, what advice would you give your younger self today?
Oh, man. I wouldn't give my younger self advice today because my younger self wouldn't listen, bro. You know what I'm saying? My younger self would look at me like a fucking sucker. He'll be like, get the fuck out of my face with that shit. So honestly,
For real, I was like, I didn't expect that one.
yeah, my younger self wouldn't try to hear shit. My younger self would probably rob my older self. But all I could do is live and learn. Just like I'd rather age like wine than age like milk. So I'm just trying to get better with time, brother. That's it.
Now, you have a voice and you have a huge following because a lot of kids, a lot of people are in a world where you and I from the 80s, we're not used to this social media stuff.
No way.
How do you plan to move forward with your voice? And then what are some projects you got going on in 2021?
From what I see on TikTok, they have this thing called community guidelines, so where they kind of censor you. So on TikTok, I have to be like rated G. If you look at my last 20 videos, I no longer use cuss words. I can't say fuck, shit, bitch, none of that. But in my first videos, you see, I'm cussing all over the place. And I get these kids, yeah, I get these kids telling me like, hey, my mother said I can't listen to your page no more because all you do is curse. And I said, damn. So me being older and wiser, I'm trying to educate these young kids about the actual sport of boxing. If you look at my last videos, I no longer curse. I say what I feel and I get my point across. And my wife has been helping me with this as well. There's ways to get your point across equally as effective. Just keep it rated G. So as far as that goes, I'm really trying to get more into YouTube because on YouTube, a little bit more uncensored, I could be more of myself. And it's just less censorship. It's a bigger platform to grow on. There's more money in YouTube, especially because if this COVID thing is going to be going on, come on. All I know is boxing and street shit and training. So why not? And I've been talking to a lot of other YouTubers telling me how to move on YouTube, and they're actually making pretty decent money every month, surprisingly. So I say, hey, I'm sure you know what it is. And I'm really looking to get more into that. You know what I mean? I love your show. I love your podcast. It's kind of cool. You only have one life. We all have one chance to do this thing called life. Why the fuck live life not being yourself?
All I'm going to tell you is this, is that your hard work will get you to that YouTube channel because people who grind or people who come just broke, we got nothing to lose. By grinding, something's got to give.
On that same note, bro, what you just said made a lot of sense to me because I get asked a lot of questions about a boxer's heart. And I say, you know what? If you take a look at most boxers come from the bottom. They fight because they have to, not because they want to. When you at the bottom, there's nowhere to go but up. So like you just said, when you come from the bottom, there's nowhere to go but up.
All right. So people who follow you, people that's familiar with the story, can you give us a little background on the Moneyboy story for the listeners that have no idea what's going on?
There's not really much of a backstory other than, like I said, when I jumped on social media, I finally learned what the definition of an internet troll was. Boxing is very racist. And if you insult somebody's hero, they're going to feel offended. I make videos on Mexican fighters that I like. Juan Marquez, Eric Morales, Barrera, Andy Ruiz, Salvador Sanchez. I love those Mexican fighters. But for some reason, when I talk about Canelo Alvarez, the current Mexican face, people think that I'm talking about Mexicans. I'm talking about him. I love real Mexican fighters. And you can check my videos. You can check the dates. I've been showing love to Mexican fighters because I grew up watching Oscar de la Hoya before he was Oscar de la Fishnet. I grew up watching De La Hoya, Chavez Sr. I love real Mexican warriors. What I don't like is a fighter who fears his mandatories like Canelo Alvarez. So fast forward, a lot of Mexican fans got turned off by that. And I started getting a lot of hate. I'm Ecuadorian, but they were calling me a dirty Puerto Rican for some reason because it's okay. Ignorance is everywhere. But there was this racist Instagram site called The Full Community. It's ran by a couple teenagers who in LA, they turned to that site for Chicano entertainment. And there's nothing wrong with that. But then they made a fake offer to me. I've been around boxing a long time. I know what a boxing contract looks like. Hey, we offer you a fight in LA for $2,000. And I said, who the fuck is this? Who's the opponent? What? Before I can say anything, they say, aha, you're ducking, you're scared of us. It's like kid shit. So this almighty Moneyboy gets wind of that. And he makes a video with my face in the background, green screen, and says, I would knock SouthPaw out. I would have him on the ground begging for his life. And I said, interesting. This kid is about 150 pounds soaking wet. I talked to him. I said, hey, bro, I think you need to chill out with your words. I don't play that shit, bro. You're probably used to trolling a lot of guys who are going to let you. You're not going to just shit on my name and think you're going to get away with it. We could go to any gym in Chicago and I would make you feel my pain. unlimited rounds, no time limit. Just go to somebody quits. Doghouse rules. We go till it's me or you. And I'll even shake your hand afterwards and pick you up and give you a hug and sign your gloves, because I'm sure that's what you want. This kid has about, 30,000 followers on his TikTok, so he's really using my name for attention. Clout chasing is what they call it nowadays. He really started feeding into it. And my wife people told me, hey, this guy's just trying to use your name to get views. And I noticed his views went up since he used my name. So I said, you know what? Now I actually want to beat your ass, kid. I seen your sparring videos. You're trash. I would probably knock you out within 5 rounds. And I'm not just saying it because it sounds good. I really feel like this. I knock guys out my own weight. What the fuck is he going to do? Fast forward, the last couple of weeks, the attention on this has been growing. A lot of people like yourself, a couple other people have been getting wind of this. And the pressure's starting to get to the little kid.
So the story for April 11th caught wind. Everybody's on it, which is a good thing. I want to know, and the people want to know, is this going to be live? Like, are we all going to be able to see it?
If he shows up, it will definitely be live on my YouTube. Because a lot of guys nowadays, what they do is they'll record a sparring or a fight and they will chop the shit out of it. If it was all up to him, he would record it with nobody around and he would edit out the punches that might land on me and make it look like he won the fight. But yeah, at the same time, I would prefer it to be live so the viewer can decide who really won. I have no problem. I'm confident in myself. You can watch every one of my mistakes, and that's where the challenge lies. I'm willing to go live on my YouTube, SouthPaw 773 TV. I can go live on it as soon as the first bell rings to the last bell till somebody quits. I don't think he has that in him to let an internet millennial troll rattle my cage. But like I said, what I love about life, time tells everything. So we're gonna see April 11th, who the fuck is who. I will be going on April 11th. I'm gonna go to a couple gyms. I'm gonna post the locations, everything. I'm gonna record me calling him. But on my part, my offer stands until the day I die.
Okay. Have you ever thought about, if it happens, it goes live, maybe a charity, have people donate for a charity of a cause? I mentioned earlier, you got just so many people following you that maybe they can do like your gym or something. Have y'all talked about, has there been any talks about that?
I would love to do that. I would whip this kid's ass in the parking lot for free. But at the same time, if somebody that's fortunate could benefit from this, I'm definitely all for that. I realize it now. If this could possibly help anybody, if anybody could benefit from this somehow, I don't need the fucking money. You know what I mean? But if it could benefit somebody less fortunate, or even inspire somebody, or even teach somebody a lesson not to run your fucking mouth on the internet when in real life, shit can happen.
Y'all hear that, people? We need some sponsorship up in this bitch.
Yeah, man. Hey, bro, if y'all want to see it, I doubt it's gonna happen. But if you want to support my page, I wanna start looking to make spread more positivity, not just about boxing, but about giving young kids a right mindset.
Coming up next, we're gonna go inside the DTL studio, so don't go nowhere. You inside the DTL studio, where I'm gonna ask you some questions and you're gonna answer them the best of your ability.
Yes, sir.
All right, SouthPaw. If a movie was made of your life, what would it be about, and who would play you?
Movie. If a movie was made in my life, it'll be about the average knucklehead kid out of Chicago who's gonna get into the same type of troubles. But this kid doesn't die. This kid's story doesn't end in jail or in the ground. This kid actually saw some type of light through the grace of God, and he flipped that switch and turned his energy into something he knows, like boxing. And who could play me? I don't know who the fuck I would want to play me.
All right, man. You gotta look pretty up in there.
Yeah, man. You know?
What are your top 3 boxing matches?
Boxing matches? Oh, shit. I'm going to go by the ones that I remember. When the first boxing match that was really memorable to me was when Oscar De La Hoya put a beating on Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. De La Hoya wasn't really liked by the Mexican fan base because he represented America in the Olympics. And I'll never forget how bloody he made Chavez in that first fight. The second fight is Mike Tyson versus Holyfield 2. You know what I mean? No matter of fact, Part 1 and 2, the whole Holyfield Tyson, them two fights. Nobody expected Holyfield to beat Tyson, and what happened in the rematch was just crazy. Him biting his ear, spitting it out, attacking the police at the end. I thought it was crazy and hilarious, and I still watch it to this day. And the third one, I would have to say Andy Ruiz beating Anthony Joshua was probably the most shocking moment of recent times. It was kind of like Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson 2.0. I'm not Mexican, but I cried when Andy Ruiz won because, damn, that was something, bro. That was something.
It was, man. I was like, oh, shit. I remember when he fell in the third round. I was like, he ain't getting up.
Yeah.
It was just like, I was like, whoa.
He got up and
if he fights again, I think he wins. I don't think the second fight he was taking that shit seriously.
Yeah, I think he let the money get to him. He gained about 70.
Shit out, fuck this.
I love Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz. But that moment just shocked me. I never cried from out of happiness from a boxing match until that night.
There you go. What is your best feature?
My best feature, I say, is my honesty. Although it gets me into trouble sometimes, I wake up and I thank God that I'm still alive, and just know that I'm gonna be myself, and may the Lord be with me.
Top 10 boxers, no particular order, dead or alive.
Oh shit! So, okay, I don't go by dead boxers because a lot of people want to dick ride boxers that their grandfather told them was good. I don't give a fuck about Sugar Ray Robinson. When I watch footage of Sugar Ray Robinson, he jumps in the air with leaping punches. I don't think he touched the guys of today. I like skill. A lot of people gonna hate me for this, but I don't give a fuck. Floyd Mayweather, number 1. Yeah, no particular order. I like Mayweather, Pernell Sweet Pea Whitaker, young Oscar De La Hoya. Shit. Young Oscar De La Hoya. I love Roy Jones, Mike Tyson, of course. Nowadays, Andy Ruiz, Errol Spence Jr., David Benavidez, Gervonta Tank Davis, Teofimo Lopez, and that's pretty much. If I skipped out, I'm gonna leave it there because there's so many great fighters.
You got 10.
Is that 10?
On the dot. That's 10 on the dot.
Oh shit! There you go.
What are 3 songs that you listen to that get you pumped up?
Let me see. There's nothing like the Tupac "Hit 'Em Up" song. I love that shit. Even some Texas rap, some UGK. I gotta say some 50 Cent. Anything from him, high energy, up tempo, hip hop shit, talking about killing shit that I grew up around. 50 Cent, Tupac, shit like that. High energy.
When it's all said and done, how do you want to be remembered?
I really don't care how I'm remembered, as long as the people that love me remember me. I don't give a fuck what somebody who I'm never gonna meet thinks of me and how they remember me. As long as the people who I love remember me for loving them is all I care about. As long as my wife, my mother love me, I don't need nobody else. So I don't care how I'm remembered.
Facts. All right. What does it mean to be a fighter?
To be a fighter means that you have to live the lifestyle. Being a fighter don't mean that you just box on the weekends. You have to believe that you're a fighter. You have to be confident in yourself. You know what I mean? If you have any doubts, you don't play boxing. Boxing is a test. Boxing is a test within yourself. Boxing is a mental test, physical test of your will. Can you fight when you're bleeding? Can you fight when you can't breathe? Can you fight when you're tired? Can you fight when you're dizzy? That's what it means to be a fighter to me. Being a fighter don't just mean buying boxing gloves and punching in the garage, making videos for social media. Being a fighter is so much more than that. What are you fighting for? Like when a guy tells me he wants to box, I say, why do you want to fight? Where are you fighting from? Am I going to feel those punches? Where are you from? Southside Chicago? When you punch, I want to feel the south side. You lost your mother when you were 5 years old. When you punch, I want to feel that pain when you punch. I want you to dedicate yourself. I want to see your pain when you fight. Show me your spirit. That's what fighting means to me. And a lot of people that might go over a lot of people's heads, but that's what it means to me.
Now, if you were in my shoes, what questions would have asked yourself that I didn't?
Oh shit. Let's see.
I threw a curveball there, bro.
Nah, I mean, hey, bro, you did your thing, bro. You probably asked out of the interviews I did recently, bro. You probably went the deepest, bro, and I really appreciate you for that, bro, because you made me mental brainstorm. I even had to think a little bit. I'm usually quick with it with the answers, but I really appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate it.
It's always good to pick somebody's brain. So I think you're a champion in your own right for what you're doing right now.
Appreciate it, man. What is your social media for those that don't have it yet?
Yes, my YouTube is SouthPaw773 TV. Only 20,000 subscribers, but I got the 20,000 pretty quick for the time I've been on YouTube. My TikTok, SouthPaw Boxing, 266K and growing. My Instagram, SouthPaw Backup, one word. And you can follow me there. A lot of people ain't gonna like me, but there's boxing nerds who love me, and that's all, and that's who I do it for.
Somebody like you because you missed the big number. I was looking at your Instagram and TikToks. Do you know you got 6.7 million likes? Did you know that?
Oh, okay.
Did you know that though?
I'm
gonna take a picture on the sidebar. I'm gonna take a picture. I'm gonna show you. You got 6.5 million likes.
Oh, okay. Wow. I check the followers every now and then, but okay. Thank you for telling me that. I really appreciate the love, man. I really appreciate the support. That means I'm doing something right, you know.
That's what I've been saying. When Moneyboy hears this, what do you want him to hear?
I just want Moneyboy to know we're not the same. I just want him to know that we're not the same. We didn't grow up the same. I started gangbanging at 13 years old. I didn't know nothing but the streets. I don't snitch on people through videos like he does. He's basically doing the police's job. I can't respect the guy who is selling soul for attention. I'm a man. I stand on shit, bro. And like I say, I don't give a fuck. Like with me, with my social media page. People are going to hate me, but I'm never going to sell my soul. I'm never going to change. He'll do that if it gets him attention. I just want Moneyboy to know that there's other ways to build character other than social media. That's all I want him to know. And my offer to fight with him stands forever. I doubt he ever will. And I stand on that. I've been through too much real shit in my life. And I can spot a phony. I can smell a phony through my phone. And whenever I see his page on my phone smells like pussy afterwards, I got to take 2 sanitizer wipes and clean my phone off because it smells like pussy with the yeast infection after I see this kid on my phone. And that's what I would like him to know.
And then the very last question, what does dragging the line mean to you?
You elaborate a little bit on it.
That's the name of the podcast, Dragging the Line.
Oh, I am so sorry.
There's people like my best friend the other day goes, I don't know what the fuck that means.
I would have to think of my uncle. My uncle's a big cokehead. So when he would bust out these big ass lines when I was little on the motherfucking on the mirror, I'm thinking of him busting out a big old Scarface line, big old Godfather line, we called it. And him starting from one end of the
same age. You know? We're the same age, that's why.
Hey, that's probably what it is. Dragging the line probably means I can picture my uncle at the table sniffing a line of coke about 3 feet long and passing the rolled up dollar bill to his homie in the hood somewhere, fucked up at 3 in the morning.
All right, everybody. That was SouthPaw. Thank you again for coming on. Much appreciated.
Yeah, anytime.